Welcome back to the Tracy Take. Today, Ryan and I, we are starting our new series, which is previewing the top stories entering the training camp for all 32 teams. In today's video, we are doing the Atlanta Falcons and the two main stories that we feel everyone should be focusing on entering the training camp. But before we do that, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and also ring the bell to get notified when we create new content. Ryan and I, as we said, we're starting a training camp series, and we have a lot more content coming out as we enter the preseason. And also when we're in the regular season, we're going to have weekly videos and prediction videos that include all of the Falcons games. And so as a big Falcons fan, I will have a lot of good commentary on this. So be sure to subscribe, ring the bell to get notified when we make those videos. And Ryan, I am a big Falcon. I'm a good
You
Falcon
are,
fan.
yeah.
I'm very knowledgeable. People should subscribe. And so I love talking about the Falcons. I'm married into a Patriots family, and this is like the first time since that season where I'm like feeling pretty optimistic. And maybe like, because also now too, like 28-3 is just getting old. It's just getting old. That guy at the draft was hilarious. And this year, I think we're going to shock some people. I think we're lucky to be in a horrible division. And I really love all the moves that Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith made. Starting with the first story, and it's one that you brought up. It's starting out with where this offense is at now, and I think number one story to watch is going to be watching Desmond Ridder's development. Yeah. I think that it was a great little appetizer of what we saw with him in the final 4 games of the season, and he showed incremental improvements, and that he can lead the team, and also too, kind of in this Arthur Smith offense, you don't need him to be a Patrick Mahomes GOAT-like-esque. You just need him to be you need him to be a Ryan Tannehill. You know, like I've made that comparison before, and I really need that. If that's all he ever becomes, then I'll be satisfied with the performance within this offense. I think he can be more than that. Personally, I think he has that high ceiling, but that's just like if he could meet that bar, then I think that's a good year for him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you look at a lot of the moves that they made this offseason. I think they made upgrades at wide receiver. They brought in Scotty Miller and Mac Wilson. They dropped Damiere Byrd and Olamide Zaccheaus. Kyle Pitts was injured during the part that Desmond Ridder played in, so he is getting that weapon back. Yeah. And then they also went out, they got Jonnu Smith, and then I think kind of what the second story that we'll talk about a little bit, but the running game should be better than it was last year, and it was one of the top ones in the league last year. Yeah. And so I think there's a lot of pressure on Desmond Ridder. If I was in the Falcons position, I would be like, Desmond Ridder, you were getting all 17 games this year, right? Unless it's like so egregious that like Taylor Heineke is clearly better. But I think you give him all 17 games, and if he plays you guys out of position to go get one of the top quarterbacks next year, then great. Like, that's totally fine. That's exactly what you want. I think right now, give a little sneak preview of our season preview predictions, but I think the Falcons are going to win this division. This team, I think, on paper is just too good. Mm-hmm. And it kind of transitioning a little bit over into the second half of what we want to talk about, but this offense – they were first in the NFL in rushing attempts last year by a pretty large margin. I want to say they had like 550 something rushing attempts.
Yeah. Well, and they were one of the top rushing teams in the league, just in general.
Yeah. But like they were the only team that ran the ball more than they actually passed it. Mm-hmm. And like, I want to say the second most was like 440 something. Like it was like they had over 100 more rushing attempts than anybody else. And for me, then they go out, they draft Bijan Robinson, one of the best running back prospects we've seen in years, and then Matthew Bergeron, who is clearly going to fill that left guard spot. I know they kind of were like, well, we'll see where he fits in the post-draft press conference, but that's BS, okay? We all know he's playing left guard. Mm-hmm. And so, like, are they going to run the ball 600 times this year? Like, are they just going to try and wear down defenses like Derrick Henry did with the Titans 2-3 years ago? So that, to me, I think is what's really interesting about this offense. Is how much are they going to run the ball? They were effective with it last year, and they were running it with a 6th-round pick and somewhat of a patchwork offensive line.
Well, and I think that's the key thing, and that's where then leading like the Bijan Robinson pick, where it's not high risk, really high reward because you're getting one of the most athletic guys in this in this draft class. But you're able to do that with the 6th-round pick last year, and Tyler Algier. Was he 6th or 5th? A day three running back.
Yeah.
Pretty sure he was 6, but I can't remember. It's besides the point. But you're able to do that because of
back up your microphone. Back up.
Oh, sorry.
There you go.
You were able to do. Sorry, you were able to do that because of how effective that offensive line was. And so really outside the left guard spot, every position played really well. You have the best right guard in the league. You have an above average left tackle. Caleb McGarry was one of the top tackles in the league as well, right tackle. So in general, it's just going to be seeing how this offense develops. Because I feel like they can just make so many mismatches. I feel like you can line up Bijan in the slot if you wanted to. I feel like Jonnu Smith and Kyle Pitts are going to create so many mismatches here. Drake London is super tall and athletic, and I think he it's going to be tough for a lot of just average-sized corners to defend against him, and he's got a year of experience under his belt. So I think this offense is really going to shine. I think to me, I want to lead also into another key piece of training camp to watch for the Falcons and how they really develop is on the other side of the ball. I'm looking at it right now on our lads. They have 7 different starters than people who were not on the team last year, just in general, on this defense. Mm-hmm. And that is going to be very key to the success of the Falcons is improving this borderline atrocious defense. If they weren't atrocious, they were just really, really bad. But bringing on Calais Campbell, David Onyemata, and Bud Dupree, defensive line is already massively improved, at least on paper. And so then adding Caden Ellis, I think it was an underrated signing. And then Jesse Bates in the free safety position, essentially just being your center fielder who's going to be able to catch everything, hopefully. It just leads everything to have much more success being on the defensive side of the ball. So then, going to your point earlier, the team that can run the ball very effectively and will just keep running it over and over again. Mm-hmm. If they get a 10-point lead, good luck getting the ball back because they are just going to keep getting first downs, taking minutes off the clock, make the game go as quick as possible. And that's the way that Arthur Smith wants to play. So that's seeing the development. What the starting lineup is at the beginning of week 1 is where I'm going to be also very keyed into seeing how training camp pans out. Yeah,
definitely. And this defense was not good last year. They were one of the worst rushing defenses in the league last year, which was ironic, I think, because they were so good running the ball, but they couldn't stop the run for their lives.
I know. You think that they would just practice against their team.
Exactly.
I feel like this is how you get better, guys.
But then the addition of Jesse Bates and David Onyemata alone, I think, allows this defense to just be so much better. Because Jesse Bates, like you said, is that true center fielder and he'll allow more guys to play close to the line of scrimmage because he has such a large range.
And also then add in too, and they got Jeff Okudah cheap, very cheap as well.
Yeah,
if he's able to pan out. And he does have some injury history, but you don't need him. You have AJ Terrell; he is your guy. You just need Jeff Okudah to be just a consistent number 2.
Yeah, definitely. But I think I kind of already said this earlier, but I think the Falcons are probably going to be my pick to win the division because Bryce Young and the Panthers, while I like what they have going on over there, I don't see that necessarily. I don't see them striking fire on the first attempt, right? And so then the Buccaneers look to be in shambles down in Tampa Bay. The Saints, the Derek Carr experiment, I'm kind of up in the air on. They could be good, they could not be. But I just look at the Falcons, and they're going to run the ball first, for sure. And, they're just not going to make mistakes. You're going to have to go in there and beat them in a knockout, drag-down fight. And so I like that style of football. I like where the Falcons are heading, and I think it's going to be a fun training camp and preview for the 2023 season.
Yeah. So just please no one get hurt. Just
no one get hurt. Yeah. So I wasn't going to say it, but you brought it up. So before we jinx,
we're all thinking it. Every Falcons fan watching this video, we are all thinking it. We know exactly what I'm talking about.
Well, before we get hate for ruining the Falcons 2023 season, let's go ahead and wrap up this video there. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on what you think the Falcons are going to do in 2023. Do you think they're going to be good? Do you think they're going to be bad? Somewhere in the middle. Let us know down below. And other than that, we will see you guys next time.